Right now, there's a growing buzz around the NFL that feels impossible to ignore, especially if you follow the Dallas Cowboys closely, because one familiar name keeps circling back into the conversation, and that name is Stephon Gilmore. This is not just casual speculation or fans throwing ideas around on social media. This is the kind of quiet league chatter that starts small and slowly builds momentum, the kind that eventually turns into something very real. The idea of Stephon Gilmore returning to Dallas is gaining traction because it makes sense on multiple levels, from football fit to leadership to timing. And when you step back and look at the Cowboys' current situation, it starts to feel less like a what if and more like a why not now. Stephon Gilmore represents something the Cowboys defense has been searching for, sometimes without even realizing it. He represents stability, experience, and authority. Dallas has no shortage of talent on defense. They have explosive players, fast players, and playmakers who can change a game in one snap. But what they have lacked at critical moments is a steady presence in the secondary who can calm things down when offenses start adjusting, when games get tight, and when the pressure rises in big situations. Gilmore is the type of player who doesn't panic, doesn't freelance unnecessarily, and doesn't let emotions override discipline. That matters more than ever when you're trying to win in January. This was when Gilmore was previously with Dallas, his impact went beyond the box score. He wasn't just another corner lining up outside. He was someone quarterbacks had to account for before the snap. He was someone who understood route concepts, offensive tendencies, and situational football at a high level. You could see it in the way he positioned himself, the way he communicated with safeties, and the way he helped younger defensive backs get lined up correctly. Even when the ball didn't come his way, his presence altered the offense's plan. That kind of influence doesn't show up in fantasy stats, but it shows up on film, and coaches absolutely notice it. One of the biggest reasons a Gilmore return makes sense now is because the Cowboys are firmly in win now mode. This is not a team that should be experimenting or hoping young players figure things out on the fly. This is a team that believes it has the pieces to compete with anyone in the NFC. And when you're in that position, you prioritize reliability over potentials. Gilmore gives you reliability. You know what you're getting. You know how he prepares, how he practices, and how he handles pressure. There's no learning curve, no adjustment period, and no guessing game. He can step into the building and immediately raise the standard. Another important factor is how Gilmore fits into the bigger picture of the Cowboys' defense. This is a unit built around aggression and speed, with Micah Parsons serving as the centerpiece. Parsons is at his best when he can attack freely, when quarterbacks are forced to hold the ball just a little longer because their first read isn't there. Coverage and pass rush are directly connected, and a veteran corner like Gilmore strengthens that connection. When quarterbacks hesitate, when throwing windows tighten, Micah Parsons becomes even more dangerous. Like, that extra half second is often the difference between a clean throw and a sack or forced mistake. Trevon Diggs is another key piece in this conversation. Diggs thrives when he's allowed to be aggressive, when he can trust that the rest of the secondary is solid behind him. Gilmore's presence allows Diggs to play his game without feeling like he has to be perfect on every snap. It creates balance. Diggs can jump routes and take calculated risks because Gilmore provides structure and discipline on the other side. That combination is difficult for offenses to deal with because you're facing both opportunistic playmaking and veteran consistency at the same time. Beyond the X's and O's, Gilmore's value in the locker room cannot be overstated. This is a player who has been through it all. He has seen the highs and lows of the NFL, played in big games, and handled intense scrutiny. Younger players listen to him because his resume speaks for itself. Veterans respect him because he does his job the right way. When someone like Gilmore speaks up, it's not about ego or volume, it's about credibility. That kind of leadership is especially important for a defense that has at times struggled with composure in high-pressure moments. The Cowboys' defense has had stretches where it looks dominant, overwhelming opponents with speed and physicality, but it has also had moments where it appears disjointed, where communication breaks down and assignments are missed. A player like Gilmore helps clean up those moments. He understands spacing, leverage, and situational awareness. He knows when to play conservatively and when to take chances. That football IQ becomes invaluable late in games when one mistake can change everything. Another reason the idea of a Gilmore return is resonating is familiarity. This is not a new relationship. He knows the coaching staff, the scheme, and the expectations. The coaches know what he brings and how to use him effectively. There's a level of trust that already exists, and in the NFL, trust is huge. Coaches want players they can rely on to execute the game plan without constant supervision. Gilmore fits that mold perfectly. From a broader perspective, this potential move sends a message. It tells the locker room and the rest of the league that the Cowboys are serious about maximizing their window. It's not about flashy signings or headlines. It's about making smart, calculated decisions that improve the team where it matters most. Defense wins championships, and championship defenses are built on communication, discipline, and leadership just as much as raw talent. It's also worth noting that Gilmore's game ages well. He doesn't rely solely on speed or athleticism. He relies on technique, positioning, and understanding offensive concepts. Those traits don't disappear with age. If anything, they become more refined. That's why veteran corners who play the game the right way can remain effective even as younger players come and go. Gilmore's experience allows him to anticipate routes, recognize formations, and put himself in the right place at the right time. When you think about the Cowboys' recent playoff struggles, a recurring theme has been the inability to consistently get stops when it matters most. Explosive offenses have found ways to exploit breakdowns in coverage, especially when games tighten up. Adding a steady presence like Gilmore doesn't guarantee success, but it significantly reduces the margin for error. It gives the defense a better chance to respond when offenses adjust, rather than scrambling to keep up. There's also something to be said about the psychological impact of adding a respected veteran. It reinforces accountability, it raises expectations in meetings and on the practice field. Younger players see how a professional prepares and carries himself, and that influence spreads. Culture isn't built overnight, but it can be reinforced quickly when the right personalities are added to the room. Gilmore is exactly that kind of personality. From a fan perspective, the idea of Gilmore returning feels right because it aligns with what Dallas needs right now. Not more hype, not more potential, but more certainty, more control, more leadership. Cowboys fans have seen enough talent come and go to understand that talent alone isn't enough. Execution, discipline, and experience matter, especially when the season is on the line. If this move were to happen, it wouldn't be about asking Gilmore to be something he's not. It would be about letting him do what he does best. Play smart, physical, consistent football, and elevate the players around him. That's the mark of a true defensive alpha. Not someone who dominates every highlight reel, but someone who makes the entire unit better simply by being on the field. As the buzz continues to grow, it's clear why this conversation isn't going away. The fit makes sense. The timing makes sense. And the need is real. Whether or not it ultimately happens, the fact that Stephon Gilmore's name is being discussed in connection with Dallas again says a lot about how highly he's still regarded and how serious the Cowboys are about fortifying their defense. In a league where windows close quickly and opportunities are fleeting, smart teams act decisively. They identify weaknesses, address them with proven solutions, and avoid unnecessary risks. A potential Stephon Gilmore return checks all of those boxes. It's not about the past. It's about the present and the chance to build something strong enough to withstand the pressure of postseason football. And if Gilmore does put the star back on his helmet, the Cowboys defense won't just gain a cornerback. It will gain a leader, a stabilizer, and a player who understands exactly what it takes to win when it matters most. That's why this buzz feels different, why it feels legitimate,